Okay, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Omega Files, and tonight we've gathered to have another one of our infamous pick three. This time I decided, since we don't really have a whole lot of Doctor Who news going on, thanks to Guerrilla Filming, Ninja Cruise, and whatever else that Chibnall's doing. Also, the fact they've been filming in studio all week, and plus we haven't done a Doctor Who related subject in a very long time. So I decided, why not? Well, screw you, Groot. I decided, what the hell? Let's go ahead and let's do something Doctor Who related, and let's do something we're all passionate about. And I know a lot of us have thought, what would happen if such and such a villain encountered, this new Doctor, yada, yada, yada. So I said, okay, go out and pick 3 villains and give me a how and why do you think, that this has happened or whatever. Give me a little background or whatever you want. And maybe even, throw in, for the hell of it, how would this, villain you think interact with the new Doctor? Now, we don't have a whole lot to go on that front, so this is going to be a lot of speculation. All right, but it's just basically an exercise to use our imaginations and just have a little fun and kill a whole lot of time with something other than rate your favorite Doctor. God knows how many of them polls I've seen in the last couple of weeks. All righty, so let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's get hopping. All right, we'll start at the bottom this time. Let's start with Elijah Kraling. I'll get it eventually. And let's have a little talk about which 3 you picked.
All right, the 3 that I picked, 2 of them are from the first Doctor era, and then 1 from the third Doctor era. My first pick is a pair, the Menoptera and Zarbi. Because the special effects we have today, I'm pretty sure they could put them to good use. And then also the Chumbleys, because of the special effects we also have today. And then also, we haven't had a good Auton story since Rose, so let's bring them back. So.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. The Autons, we have not really seen in a while. At least not since when Rory became one. That's a while back. All right, so let's move over to Beef. Beefhead, tell us your 3. Go on ahead.
Now, you know me. I like to do things maybe a little bit differently. So I thought about when we last did pick 3. So what I did was I picked one that I think that they probably would choose, what I would really like to see, and one that I think they shouldn't really bring back. And instead of the beef board, I've tried to do a little presentation, but I haven't really had much of a run through on this. So hopefully it'll work for you and you can guess what it is here. So basically, spoiler alert really, guys, is that we've already had Autons. We've already had, Ice Warriors. And then, we've already had lesbian lizards. And sadly, thanks to the Ood, we're not really going to get the sense rights because it's all variations on the theme. Then we've had sort of, everyone's favourite babbling bald head. Actually, no, not Graham. Sontarans. We've had Sontarans. Now, if I move out the way, then you can see it a bit better. So, I mean, what's it likely to be now and still be on message? I think we should have the Draconians, to be honest with you. Oh, no, not Graham again. No, sorry, not Graham. We should have the Draconians, to be honest with you. I just think that it was something that would be nice. It will work. It's a humanoid race. Apart from the makeup and everything like that, they've got quite a cool look, to be honest with you. And I think that would benefit from being revisited. Also, they're primarily male, so it's a real sausage fest. It would benefit from female influence. So there's a teachable lesson there, that you can have the women in it and, they can embrace their feminine side. So that's who I think would be a likely choice. Who I would like to see come back is something else completely different. I'd like to see the Wern come back because I think that would be, we've only seen him once really. And with the sort of special effects and everything like that you can do, it would be something different, to be honest with you. Insects that can live in the dark vacuum of space. And obviously because of technology, we don't need pulsating nipples and we don't need bubble wrap. So we can have a lot of different things on it. You could really go for a sort of horror aspect, that you could have the Doctor arrive in a worm hive. You can have the body shock of the eggs all being laid inside, and I think it would just be something different to have a non-humanoid villain, and then obviously you get away from that. Now, what I would like to see, or what we should never see, is something that we had in the 70s, apart from disco, gritty movies, and obviously baby pictures of me, which obviously I've got a very cute face, but what can you do? I think the Drashigs should not come back at all. It would be a terrible, terrible mistake. It's like having a fat person at a buffet. It just won't happen. They're like a combination of a caterpillar, a barking terrier with green bunny ears. It just isn't going to work. So, and at the end of the day, it was just a very sad, sad sock puppet. So, I think, just remember it for what it was, the glorious glow of a yellow CSO screen, and remember the Drashigs for what they were, which were just like happy, smiley, friendly, and overall, they were just fun. So that's my 3 choices. You can choose to agree, disagree, but I'll make these pictures available online.
Yeah, I remember the Drashigs because one of the big trivia things was they modeled their heads off dog skulls, actual dog skulls. So I thought that was pretty neat. Okay, Carol Ann, go on. Let's hear your 3. Go on ahead.
My 3 would be, the third would be the Silurians, mainly because the Silurians are my favorite. I love that, their whole like storyline and stuff. So I wouldn't mind having them back. The second one would be the Rastan warrior robot, because it only showed up for like 5 minutes or something in the 5 Doctors movie. And not only was the 3rd Doctor like scared of him, hiding behind a rock going, oh my God, whatever. But it totally destroyed the whole, Cybermen and stuff like that. So with today's technology and, CGI and, like acrobats and stuff like that, martial arts, they can really pull off like a real awesome storyline with some throwing in like some martial arts with kind of like, Black Panther and, stuff like that into a robot and really kick butt. So that would be kind of like sexy and cool. And, the first one that I would like, which you guys already mentioned, were the Autons. And maybe it's because I love like old-fashioned horror movies and stuff like that, but the Autons really freaked me out when I saw them for the first time. And what was it? I forget. Spearhead in Space, was that them? I think, yeah. That really like freaked me out. Thinking about like mannequins coming to life and stuff, and they can really, if the writers do a good job and they geek out and they want to have some good old-fashioned terror involved with Doctor Who, there's so much they can do. They could turn your cars, into like, evil like entities. They could turn your cell phones. They could tell your computers, your laptops, like every little bit of technology can, just imagine like, you're on a cell phone and all of a sudden, it like bites your head off and stuff. That would be really cool. So that would be neat to get like some really cool terror into Doctor Who for a change. And, and the Autons would be perfect. So that's mine.
Good choices. Good choices. Yeah, the Autons are always fun. Kevin, go on ahead.
Well, basically I was unprepared, but what I got in my mind is basically the Weeping Angels for real, not like, oh, they are cameoed in the, for one, Weeping Angels, because they really need a terror story like Karen, is already saying. Like, come on, just don't be soft. Let's go back to the Blink times, when there was really something to be afraid of. Then the second one is the Freshter Narada. I want to see those coming back, because those 2 episodes with David Tennant's Doctor were awesome. and I really want to see those back because they are just a little bit of the horror aspect, and we need that back in Doctor Who because since the 11th Doctor came, it was really like, oh, it's always happy ending almost, and the first one is probably the let's see, I really want to see the Sontarans. Sontarans, because they really need to come back just as the villain, not as Drax the Helper, but just I want to see those coming back and do an alien invasion, take out the whole Earth for once.
So yeah, Sontarans. Yeah, we haven't heard them yet, I don't think. So it would be interesting to see a story with them again. I think we had last big one we had with the Sontarans was all the way back, like the Sontaran Stratagem Poison Sky. So yeah, it'd be nice to see them come back and do another invasion.
Honorable mention is the Autons.
All righty, yeah, Autons definitely, because you can have a lot of fun, like Carol Ann said with the Autons. I was picturing that myself when she was talking about, imagine, you're answering your cell phone, the next, it's like starting to chew your freaking ear off or something. Like, that would be scary as hell, like something right out of Cell or something.
Because basically with the technology of today, they could do something scary.
Okay, let's move over to Connor. Connor, go on ahead. What's your 3?
First is the Autons, but in their spearhead incarnation, so with the masks that don't quite fit, because they're the more terrifying version. Then I've got the Celestial Toymaker, which came about after watching Ready Player One, and I thought, thinking about how virtual reality is playing a part in the world now, what if you put the Celestial Toymaker in that sort of environment where the world is malleable and you can move it around to almost suit his needs of like setting challenges for the Doctor to overcome and then to eventually defeat him. And then to appease the feminist and gender fluid portion of the fandom, Soldeed returns as a crossdresser. So,
which story was he on?
Hans and Imon.
Oh.
So yeah, Soldeed as a crossdresser, I think, would be a great addition as well.
You filthy little hussy! Ah! Oh God, Soldeed! I remember him, man. Who could forget Soldeed? Oh, okay, AJ, go on.
Yeah, my 3 are the Sensorites. I'd like to see them come back in a story where the Doctor shows up and they're turning insane, and it turns out the humans that are on the planet that colonized with them are harvesting the part of their brain that makes them psychic and using it for a drug to make them get high. The second I'd like to see is the Rani come back. She's on a distant planet where the humans have colonized with the Silurians, but they're at war with each other. And she's trying to play both sides against each other, selling them weapons, trying to further the Time War, but she doesn't know the Time War is over. And the third I'd like to see is the 8 legs come back. The Doctor shows up on a future world. All the humans have been eaten by the 8 legs, and they've got their eyes set on Earth next for harvest.
Okay, yeah, the 8 legs. Yeah, we haven't seen in a long, long time since Planet of the Spiders. Well, that is, unless you listen to Big Finish. Okay, and they did reappear, yeah, in the 8th Doctor Adventures. But yeah, that's a nice choice because maybe not all the 8 legs were wiped out when the Great One took a nosedive. You never know. That would be an interesting adversary. Imagine, people are scared shitless of spiders. Oops, I slipped. But it's true. Especially ask AJ who lives down there. What that's that big huge spider that runs around I can't remember the name of it. But
Huntsman.
Yeah, the Huntsman. That's what I'm thinking of. And just imagine, them things running around, except they're intelligent. Oh man. Okay, let's go to William.
I narrowed it down to 4, and then the 3 that I picked were all based on story that's not available on DVD because they're lost stories. And one of them I'm going to take off because Connor already mentioned that character, which was the Celestial Toymaker. So I'm going to get to who my third one will be in a little bit. This one is a race that appeared in the story that doesn't exist. It's the Dravens and the Reals from Galaxy 4. It'll be interesting to see the Doctor get involved with going meet these two again, continuing their battle, and especially when the Dravens find out this is the same Doctor that let the previous race ladies die in that planet. So that'll be interesting to see these two return, especially because like I think Elijah mentioned the Chumbleys. So that'd be interesting to see an updated version of them. My second pick is another story. This is not really like a lost story, but I think it was a little bit edited because it wasn't. It is available on DVD, but it wasn't complete. It's some snippets cut out. And that's the War Machines. As we know in the ending of the story, Wotan was killed off before he activated the other War Machines. And the funny question is, whatever happened to these machines? Now, the interesting story would be that they were all taken by the meddling monk, and he used them as a weapon against the Doctor. That'd be an interesting way to see this weapon and then this character return again. So that'll be my second pick. And of course, my third pick, which I had changed it because I'm kind of picking the toy maker. I would pick, I don't know the species name, but it was the seaweed creatures that appeared again in Lost Story, Fury from the Deep. Now, of course, because of the way the environment is now and how we're treating the planet like that, it'd be interesting to see them return use as a weapon, and the race that uses them as a weapon would be the Sea Devils. So again, that'd be like killing two birds with one stone. That only appeared one time, and of course, one we haven't seen it, but it's not available on DVD for it being lost like that. So that'll be my three pick right there.
All right, Doctor Commentator, go on it.
Wrote mine down right here, and annoyingly, two of them have already been said, but I'm going to use them anyway. My first pick would absolutely be the first one that truly impressed me when I was getting into Doctor Who, which is the Raston Warrior robots. And like I said, that one impressed me because when I got into Doctor Who, first thing I did, I looked up all the monsters, which ones were still alive and could still pose a threat and stuff like that. And Raston Warrior robot was definitely one of them. And the first thing I saw was just a really grainy picture of it, and I thought it just looked ridiculous. Then I found a now defunct website, agador.com, where you had little clips of the individual episodes, and I saw that clip of him taking out all the Cybermen at once, and I was like, wow, I just could not believe what they were able to achieve. And as far as this whole thing of with today's modern technology, it could be better. To be honest, I think the Raston Warrior robot could still leave an impact with the technology that they used at the time. I think it was honestly that impressive. And honestly, as far as storylines could even go, when Neil Gaiman's Cybermen episode came out, was it Nightmare in Silver? Was it? I can't quite remember. But you remember that that's the first time we'd now seen the sort of Iron Man type Cybermen. You remember it went really fast. In my mind, they were upgrading themselves because as far as I remember, those were Mondasian Cybermen. In my mind, they were upgrading themselves to be faster than the Raston Warrior robots. That's what I always thought. I always thought, yeah, they were adapting to that. And like that, I still think Raston Warrior robot, it could probably still take on Cybermen for all I know, but be a bit more of a challenge. I think one robot could even take out a squad of Daleks, as far as I'm concerned. But enough of the Raston Warrior robot. My second choice would be the Rutans, and the Rutans is because we've never really seen them fight the Zontarans. Well, okay, we have seen them, both Rutans and the Zontarans, together in Shakedown: Return of the Zontarans, which isn't available on DVD, but incidentally, the rights to that are owned by the guy who runs Big Finish, and I did do some emailing, and they did say over a year ago they were considering releasing it on DVD. So everyone, if you want to see Shakedown: Return of the Zontarans on DVD, please email Big Finish. But yeah, as far as the Runes go, I would like to see them back. I would like to see sort of them fighting the Zontarans. I would love the idea, even if it was a mission to the unknown type story. No Doctor, no companions, just these two characters. But because I'm curious how they've even been fighting their warfare at all. I've always wondered how the Zontarans fight a race that can actually copy themselves, especially because surely the way this has been going is the Rutans have been copying themselves to infiltrate the Zontarans. So surely the Zontarans have found a way to detect Rutans. So surely the Rutans have found a way to evade the detection. I'm just curious where on earth this battle line has gone to. Where are they at the moment? But enough of the Rutans. My third choice, already mentioned, the Celestial Toy Maker, because really I do think he can still be a very terrifying concept of a character. I mean, like I said, most of the episodes are actually missing, but I did read up on it, and the very concept of that entire world was just frightening, and I think it'd still be frightening. I mean, when I read the whole thing about dolls for sitting in chairs that can kill you, I was like, wow, this is incredibly terrifying as a concept. And again, I mean, what terrifies us the most, it's not really the big, scary, gritty teeth, it's really the psychological impact. And usually the things that are scary are where you take things you remember from childhood, very happy things from childhood, and then perverting them, essentially, and changing them entirely. So, and I think that could still work today with the Celestial Toy Maker. So yeah, that's my 3. And I've clearly annoyed Philip because I've taken some piss.
It doesn't take much to annoy Philip anymore. Okay, let's get over to Philip Archer for he bursts. Sorry, go ahead, Philip.
My first choice was going to be the Daemons from John Perry's era. Basically, in a nutshell, that their crashed spaceship is unearthed, and the scientists are trying to wake it up. But the Doctor turns up and says, "You can't wake it up, otherwise it will cause havoc." So what the story is the Doctor trying to prevent the scientists from waking up the demons, and whilst the demons are asleep, it's causing all sorts of havoc with people using its psychic mind, killing people and making monsters come to life and all that. That's the whole story of that. And my second choice is the Flood, and that is from a meteorite passing Earth. Bits of a chunk of it comes up and falls to Earth and poisons the water, and anybody that's drinking the water turns into the Flood. So what the Doctor's has to do is try to irradiate the Flood from human beings that are infected by the water, and that's what the story sort of deals with. My last one is the Malevolence, and that one is basically the Malevolence crashed to Earth, and they have a prisoner with them, Davros. And what it is, they want to kill Davros, but they send a signal for help. The doctor picks up the signal, comes to them and says, "You can't kill Davros." And then at the same time, whilst that signal is being sent out, the Daleks hear the signal and they come to Earth to blast it out to get back their creator. So it's a race against time for the Doctor to prevent Davros being killed, and the Daleks come to Earth to destroy them to get Davros back, basically.
Okay, so some good choices going on there. Some good choices. Okay, now like I said, I had been thinking of a few over the course of the week, and I'm shocked because actually all of them did actually get named, which really threw me for a loop there. Okay, because the one I thought of right off the bat when I first doing this thing was, of course, the Rootens, because they only appeared once on the television show, and that was Horror at Fang Rock, and that was it. They never have reappeared on the television. Now, they've been mentioned multiple times, especially about their eternal war with the Sontarans, going on, like, I think it was like the doc said, like 11,000 years they've been at war. And, it's a very interesting mix. Plus, they can also shapeshift, so, that way you can save money on the budget just by having a bunch of them turn up in like a humanoid form and all that and wreaking havoc and just going crazy nuts. The other one I thought of, because they definitely need a frickin' update, is the Nymons. Now, even though we did see one in, a cousin race of theirs in, of course, the God Complex, I'd like to see these guys get a major, major, major makeup effects update. Just like they did with that creature, because that's the first thing I thought when I saw that big creature in the God Complex. It was like, oh my God, that reminds me of what a Nymon should look like.
Yeah.
So you've already got an existing suit that you can reuse. And bam, there you go. Since they're basically humanoid, and all you gotta do is do this mask, and make it look a lot better than they did this one. Boom, you're set. And with today's effects budgets and all that, especially with them, rechanneling money and whatnot, I think they could really do a great makeup on them. Plus, the other one I had come up with right off the top of my head, and Beef nailed it, was the Wern. You could really do some great things with the Wern with today's special effects. Especially you don't even have to make them CGI or anything like it, but you could. With today's CGI effects, the way they're doing them, especially the fact that they've brought on double negative, and these guys are now Oscar award winners. Damn, imagine what the hell they could do with the Wern. Double negative effects. Wham. And plus, you're right, we could finally ditch the bubble wrap. All right. But a few others that I also popped up with was, of course, the Usurians. Anyone remember them from the Sunmakers? Here's a race of guys who were Ferengi before the Ferengi were even created. You know, these are guys who had literally bought the human race by saving them and saying, okay, now you owe us this, 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 and this. And then, of course, they went to the trouble of moving the human race across several planets in the solar system. But, of course, since the branch was no longer financially viable, humans got to go. And, you know, you could do something like that where the Doctor encounters this other set of circumstances, and it turns out it's the Usurians pulling the strings behind the scenes. You know, they've been controlling the whole thing. You know, or you could even go with the war angle, like what I mentioned with Irani, that these guys are the ones sitting there. They're funding both sides, and they're keeping the war going because guess what? War is profitable. And of course, the Raston Warrior robot. And a lot of people have been doing little nifty upgrades. Check it out. It's kind of like got the Gort face thing going there from the day the Earth stood still. I love that visor thing. Plus, here's another one I've seen a few times online. Check that out. Come on. If that ain't badass, I don't know what is. You could really do a great real workup job with today's effects on the Raston Warrior robot, especially, you know, given its abilities and all that, which they can only do with, you know, the effects they had on hand back in the 80s. But imagine what you could do with them now in the 21st century. It would definitely be a hell of an upgrade. And, of course, honorable mentions we have to throw in, of course, and so I can't believe someone named them. Let's give the villains a backstory. Let's find out how the hell this happened. How the hell did this android race come to be? And just think, these were the guys who kicked the Daleks' ass into the corners of the universe, you know, for a while. Matter of fact, in one bit of a fanfic I've been thinking of, and this is one I've never written, it was going to turn out that the reason the Daleks came up with the Bronze Edition was to beat these guys, because they had come up with a way that metal-eating virus that attacked not only the organic Dalek, but also its shell. Now, imagine if you find out that the Bronze Daleks, which eventually went to war with the Time Lords, were created because they were immune to the effects of the Movellan virus. Bam, wham, there you go. Instant storyline. And, of course, one we all can never forget that no one mentioned, I was shocked, the Vok robot. No, even though we've had a knockoff that was somewhat similar in Voyage of the Damned, let's bring these guys back. Imagine a robot revolution that's gone way out of hand. Now, I know they've popped up in some novels, you know, such as Corpse Marker, plus we even had Robophobia, Big Finish Audio, where they got mentioned. But imagine an entire robot revolution going out of hand. And better yet, let's throw the Doctor in it. And, I'm really going to kick you in the nads. It's a fixed event. The Doctor has to work around it and can't do a thing about it because it's meant to happen. She just basically has got to go in there and save whoever she can, but she can't stop the revolution because it was meant to be like a big teaching point in human history saying, it's not your place to play God. So that's just a few ideas I had off the top of my head. So a lot of great choices here. It seems like the Autons were the prevailing winner and mentioned most often. And even though they have been touched up on in the new series, you know, there's always a lot of different things you can do with them. You know, the Nestine consciousness, quote unquote. I did love the fact that they've gone beyond the squid thing. Remember back during when they first appeared in Spearhead from Space, all the way at the end, you've got the evil calamari creature that's coming out of the tank. All right, so okay. Any other thoughts or any other mentions you want to give? Now that I've thrown a few of my own out there. Okay, William, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Well, my another choice I would have picked, because I think they only appeared one time in the episode and maybe one time in Big Finish, is the Crotons. That's a even though you can say they're a little bit funny looking like that, with the way we got special effects now, they will look much better, and the way and they, in a way they are a little bit of a threat to the Doctor. That I'd be interested to see them come back.
I'm shocked no one mentioned them. I really thought for sure, because we got a lot of folks in here who are really big fans of the early years. I thought for sure Crotons were going to get mentioned. Okay, Connor, you had your hand up first. Go ahead.
Sea Devils, which I'm shocked no one mentioned.
I did. They were the race controlling the seaweeds from Fury from the Deep. That I would the Sea Devil was controlling them. That's what I wanted.
Sea Devils would be another one, I think.
Okay, Beef, you had your hand up next, so go ahead.
There was a few rejected ones that I sort of went through because I think big business was sort of a prevailing theme of the last series. So I thought, Dominators would be a good one because it's sort of also males and it's business and it's going to play a contrast against a female Doctor. I'm surprised no one mentioned the Vord, to be honest with you. That was one I thought of, which might be well worth an update, to be honest with you, because it's got such quite a cool look to it anyway. The Chronoids and the Hemivores, to be honest with you, from Curse of Fenric, because they were just like an unstoppable force that scared the living daylights out of the Doctor. And it would just be interesting to, get a bit more story to them, to be honest with you, like a backstory. So, I mean, there is a whole wealth of stuff. But the thing is, that's what I found going through some of it, is that you have sort of had iterations done, so it's like variations of it that you've had in the new show. And I think that's what they need to do, is they need to think of something where we haven't done something that's quite like this. We want to do something that's maybe a bit different. And that's why, my dream one would be one that is a non-humanoid type thing, because it's always easy to go for that.
Okay, Dr. Commentary, you had your hand up. You still going?
No, because mine was the Sea Devils as well, simply because we've had the Silurians. I'd like to actually see where on earth are the Sea Devils and all this. Are they still suspended in animation?
Okay, AJ, you were next.
Yeah, the Great Vampires. That'd be cool to see them come back, back into the universe.
That would be nice to find out that, there was still one lurking around out there and the Doctor has to track it down. That would be pretty cool. All right, Connor?
I think with today's special effects, the cheetah people from Survival, seeing that sort of world with the red skies and stuff would be amazing. And just controlling someone's body, leaving someone as villainous as the Master, just succumbing to that sort of force. That'd be a brilliant adversary in the new series, I think.
Okay, Philip?
I reckon Fenric needs a second crack. I'm not really sure. He needs a second crack because you know what, he got really too easily. I reckon he should come back, 20th century stuff, and try and take over the world again with these wars.
Okay, DWC, you put your hand back up. Go ahead.
Literally on top of my head, is anyone remotely interested in maybe seeing the Valyard make any kind of return?
No, I'm sorry.
I don't know. See, in my mind, I kind of thought the reason why you've heard him mentioned, but you haven't really seen him or it didn't happen, was now that the Doctor was aware of him all the way back then, maybe that timeline got averted. But you never know; it could happen. It's a decent villain. If they get the right actor or actress, whoever they want to play him. Well, of course, I know most everybody wants to be a male because Michael Jason played him the last time. It'd be an interesting. Plus, Michael Jason's still around. Sure, it'd be a way older version of the Valyard, but I think he could do it. Okay, AJ, go ahead.
What about the greatest monsters of all, humans? How about just a pure historical?
Oh, now you're talking about next week. Damn.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
You got close. You're very close to what next week's going to be. Very close. Don't worry. That's not it completely. It's close though. You almost nailed it. Very good suggestion though. Because humans, as the Doctor said, humans are very dangerous, especially in large numbers. Yeah. Okay, William, go ahead.
One choice. It was funny nobody mentioned it, but I didn't want to put it as my choice because everybody is anticipating that this villain might actually return in the new season, and that's the Ronnie. I wasn't. That's why I didn't mention her at all. But again, but since we had Missy for quite a few years, I didn't want to deal with another female Time Lord for a while. So that's why I didn't want to bring her up.
Good point.
Yeah, Ronnie only appeared twice. That was Mark of the Ronnie and Time and the Ronnie, of course. And I always thought she was very interesting because the fact is she don't give a toss about taking over the universe. She don't give a damn about it. Matter of fact, she always makes fun of the Doctor and the Master's little feud that's been going on for how long. She just wants, to basically be running around the universe and experiment on any damn thing she wants in it, and not in kind ways. And you could really play that up to really a moral story because we do have things going on in the world like that you could bring attention to, like animal experimentation. You could play that theme, use that as a theme for the way she cruelly experiments on sentient species. You could turn that around and equate it with that. You get a nice positive moral message out of it. Okay, Philip, you had your hand waving around. What do you got?
I was going to say the crinoids, but we've already done a story. It would just be a rehash of what we've already had with them.
Oh, the crinoid?
Yeah, the crinoids.
Yeah, they haven't appeared since all the way back in, that was Seeds of Doom, wasn't it?
Yeah, 76.
Yeah, because I always get mixed up with Seeds of Death. There's Seeds of Death and Seeds of Doom. And Seeds of Doom is, of course, the crinoid, where we see the Doctor turn a dude's head all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that turned out. But I don't think he was fixing his, kink in his neck either. But, yeah, crinoids we haven't seen since way back when. Plus, I know a lot of people were hoping that's what in the Forest of the Shite was going to turn out to be. But, it's an old adversary and they haven't popped up. And, of course, you don't want them to spread. Plus, that's kind of weird because they originally encountered one, and where was it? I think it was Antarctica, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it yeah. So just think, wow, they were doing almost the thing before the thing was cool,
There you go.
All right. So, all right, go ahead, DWC. You had your hand up.
Again, literally popped into my head, but what about the grandfather of just about all time, Lord Omega?
Yep, Omega hasn't been around since all the way back in Arc of Infinity, unless you encounter appearances in Big Finish.
Yeah, and he was pretty much, I want to say, killed right after that, but I don't know, maybe you could find some way to bring him back in some way.
Timey-wimey.
Okay, Connor?
Ogrons.
Oh, I'm shocked no one mentioned the Ogrons. I thought for sure they were going to pop up.
That'd be interesting just to find out how the Daleks was tamed them to be used as slaves the way they are being used like that. That'd be an interesting origin story right there.
Those bald-headed Bigfoot guys. Okay, Carol Ann, go ahead.
I just came up with this one. I really don't know too much about it as far as the classic series, but I do know there's some kind of backstory is the Great Intelligence. Yeah. Because I felt the way they kind of ended that storyline was frankly very lame. I mean, it was just, too quick the way they, ended that. Like I guess killed him off or something like that, or defeated him. The Doctor defeated him, or whoever, Clara, or whatever. And I know there is a backstory. And to be honest, I don't know what that backstory is. I know the Great Intelligence showed up. I think it was the second Doctor, right? But if they can do something with it, because the whole idea of this like AI that's artificial intelligence or whatever that's been around for like generations, I mean, that can really sneak up on you too. And it would be really awesome if you think about it, is if there is a great intelligence that somehow has been hiding inside the network of the TARDIS, and then the TARDIS ends up becoming evil. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that would be a whole big psychological thriller thing.
Yeah, because if I remember reading right, all the way back, everybody remember that little story called The Doctor's Wife. Now, I remember reading somewhere, and I wish I could find the damned article, but originally when I believe Neil Gaiman wrote it, he had originally intended for House to be the Great Intelligence, and he had fled to this little pocket universe, to get out, get away, and he was literally consuming TARDISes to stay alive. And that's what it was supposed to be, but then somebody, of course, came along, knocked on the door, and said, no, you can't do that because we're possibly doing that, I think, later on. So that's why they had to rewrite it as House. Okay, Philip, you've had your hand going like that. So good.
One last other one I could think of was another rematch with the Black Guardian somehow.
Interesting. It would have to be really good actor to come in because Valentine Dial, that's a voice that you got to really compete with.
Yes.
That guy was sinister looking, and he had that voice that made Darth Vader shiver. Man, it's like
I would nominate that actor who played Odin in the that show.
Ooh, Odin. Are you thinking about Odin as in new series or Odin?
Anthony Quinn?
No. From that TV series that came out last year, the new American Gods.
Oh, okay, American Gods. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
that actor,
Ian McShane.
There you go.
McShane, yeah,
I would nominate him.
Okay, Connor, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
One that I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned yet. Sutak.
Oh yes, I love Sutek or at least the Osirans to pop back up again.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Even if you don't go, well, Gabriel Wolf is still around.
Yeah. It is.
So I believe that's his name. Have I got it right? I hope I didn't brain fart it. But yeah, he's still around. Matter of fact, he revoiced Sutek in Big Finish not too long ago. Matter of fact, there's another one coming out with him, ain't there? Not too long from now.
Yeah.
May.
Yeah, so he's still around. He still nails that voice. Even if you had to bring in somebody else to do the physical representation, the guy's got a mask on his head anyway. You ain't gonna know the difference if the lip sync is off or not. But the Sirens were like that. One of those races that literally scared the hell out of the Doctor because they were so damn powerful. It would be a really nice variation to play. Of course, Beef showing a picture of the Draconians. I'd love to see the Draconians come back any day of the week. I believe their society was based on almost like feudal Japan, something along that line. Where it's almost like a samurai code of honor thing going on there. Plus, they came back in Big Finish, and one of my favorites for them was Paper Cuts. Yeah, with the Sixth Doctor. That was a very good story with the Draconians. And I really wish they'd put them back on the screen because, with today's makeup and all that, they'd really rock it. Because even back then in the 70s, that makeup job was actually pretty damn good for the budget they had. And they were really stood out. And the costumes, like you said earlier, was really fantastic. So I'd really love to say, oh, my God, there's Baby Beef. Oh, no. And no, we will not be having an invasion of the Grahams. Yes, Graham McLaughlin invading a bar near you soon. All right. So anything else before we wrap this sucker up and call it a night? I think we covered a lot of different angles. We covered a lot of good ideas. You see, we're not even a paid writer's room. And here we are sitting here throwing ideas up, and a lot of them sound really damn good, I have to say. I'm no professional writer. Go listen to my audios to be sure. Okay, you see, like I said, it's just amazing what kind of ideas fans can come up with and throw together. Like I said, we're not paid to do this, and wham, 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 here we are nailing off ideas like there's no tomorrow. All right, speaking of nailing off ideas like there's no tomorrow, 1 week from today, we're going to be sitting down and having another pick 3. And, all right, break out your pens and pencils because you're going to want to write this down. For next week, I want you to pick 3 historical events or eras that you want the Doctor to interact in on the planet Earth.
Oh my! Ugh.
It could be an era. Matter of fact, it could even be one the show's visited before that you'd like to have revisited, or it could be a particular event. So,
Cold War.
A lot of people are saying pure historicals are no longer possible. Let's prove them wrong.
Yeah. The Civil War, the American Revolution.
Yeah. Civil War, American Revolution, you could do that. That's an era.
Trump.
Or you could say a particular event in those. So 3 historical events or 3 historical eras you'd like to see the Doctor interact in. Like I said, you could even have the Doctor revisiting something that that they visited before on the show, and maybe see what this new Doctor, throw in your idea what this new Doctor would do differently.
I thought it might be. Can there be pseudo science fiction historicals?
I was kind of hoping to stick to actual historical events, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's hard to do, man. Oh,
that's called reading.
Oh.
You're going to have to do some research.
Guess who flunked history at school?
Okay, so until then, everybody take care. Ta-ta. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Be seeing you.
And we'll see you all on the flip side. Have a good one, folks.
Bye-bye, everybody.